Hey everybody, so I'm back for another episode of SWV and Xscape, Queens of R&B, Season 1, Episode 5, Sisters with Choices. Before I go any further, please go ahead and click that subscribe button and be sure to like this video. And once again, thank you to all of you who support, who watch. Thank you, I really appreciate it. Alright, so let's get into this. Let me tell y'all something. I'm glad this is open next week. Okay, this has been a crazy ass fucking news week with all the stuff coming out about with Tasha and Tamika. And let me tell y'all something. I never needed any receipts. I didn't. I believe Tamika. Because unfortunately, I know family will do you dirty. And the way she was describing it, her emotions and everything that I read, I said, she ain't lying. She ain't lying. So none of this stuff was. I was like, yep, facts. And I'm glad these people are being exposed. And Tamika, I'm glad you're coming into your own. Anyway, Tamika calls Tasha and says, look, I want to talk. As Sister Tamika said, yeah, I think it's time for us to talk. And they're just showing everybody kind of in their space for a minute. Taj is FaceTiming her husband, doing this like fake kind of funny strip tease. And then her husband goes, I'm here with Eric right now. And she goes, okay, goodbye. And just cuts it off. She is so funny to me. Um, so Tasha is singing along. She's in the studio singing along to her gospel song. I will say when she sings along, it does sound a whole hell of a lot better than when Candy is trying to sing SWV's vocals like she was last week. But nevertheless, and Rocky's sitting there with a cigar, and let me tell y'all something. Rocky, yo bald headed, weird looking ass. I don't like you. I don't like you, and you got Tasha wrapped up. But Tasha, a lot of this is your character too. Period. Anyway, so Tamika comes to the studio so they can have a talk. And he was like, "Oh, what's up, Meek?" And Tamika was just kind of like, and at this point, you have come between her and her sister, and yes, you have. She don't owe you shit, and you stole her $30,000. You and Tamika, I mean, you and Tasha both. She don't owe you no fucking hello. Anyway, so Rocky leaves. Tamika explains. She sits down with Tasha and says, "Look, I talked to your mother." And Tamika kind of gives her a look. She said, "Well, okay, our mother." And she was like, "I apologize." And Tasha and Tamika are talking. And Tasha's like, "Well, how did we get here? Not talking for months." And I'm thinking to myself, how long ago did you steal that fucking money? Shit, you should be surprised that she just got to this point. Anyway, and Tasha, you are a gaslighter. You are a liar. I don't think you know no, fuck it, you do. Because when you started doing all this stuff, the whole everybody needs to be held accountable, and Tamika said, yes, I did say everybody. Like as if somehow Tamika was excluding herself. But the bottom line is, Tasha, you have gone to the greatest, you have done the worst, okay? You have the greatest offense. You stole your sister's fucking money, and then you still sitting here in front of this fucking camera like you don't know what the fuck you did. Like you was gonna go on with this live for as long as you could. And that shit's wet. You stole $30,000 from your sister. Now I don't know where y'all live, that ain't no big money. And maybe sometimes people watch shows like this and go, well, that ain't no money to them. Shit. Let me tell y'all something. Y'all gonna say you a teacher, you broke, that's why you think it's a big deal. You goddamn right I do. But let me tell you something. If it's my money, don't fucking steal from me. Because that's a form of betrayal. Now, if you need something and I have it, trust and believe, I will give it to you. Okay? If I have it, I'll do it. Okay? If I barely have it, I'll still do it. But you don't fucking steal from me. Okay? And you, Tasha, on this continuous press tour, this half-ass apologizing, you and your husband failing to take responsibility, and then he leaving you on your own to do these whack-ass, like, lives where you are, basically like, oh yeah, I know about everything. We have an open marriage, bitch. No, he cheats on you. And the way you're trying to cover up your embarrassment is to say y'all have an open marriage. And don't get me wrong, woman to woman, I can totally understand why that would be embarrassing, painful, and hurtful. I am not sitting up here like, oh, I've had perfect relationships. Clearly, I have not. But clearly, look, and ain't nobody got a perfect relationship. But my point is, there is something deeply unhealthy when a man is just perpetually cheating on you. He went from not knowing anything about these people to now y'all have an open relationship. Y'all just stop the lies. If you stop the lies, trust me, you'll be able to sleep better at night. Even if you fuck up, shit, unplug your social media, deactivate your accounts, go away for about, a few months till you can just bring it back. Bring yourself back. Come to. Because all this lying is just making it worse. Like, it's like, you're grown. You're not 15. Anyway, so Tasha and Tamika and SWV show up to choose dancers for their show because they in a crunch. So you have Tiny and Coco coming late. And all I kept thinking was like, why do y'all keep making them clap for these people every time they come in? They already coming in late. But anyway, so Lily started saying, the best dancer in the group, well, hands down, was Taj. Taj was like, I'm the best dancer even with my bad knees. Lily was like, the worst, that's me. And I was just thinking, I was like, how did they become a group? Like, Coco is the one apparently with the lead vocals, and they both accept that. Like, they have not tried to take that away from her. And then I'm like, okay, so Taj was a dancer with, kind of background voice. And then I'm like, Lily, like, I'm just trying to figure out how they came to be. That's all. So Tamika says she's the best dancer in the group. And she was like, the worst is in here. She was talking about Candy. Well, Candy, we can also put her in the vocal category for worst, but never mind. Anyway, so Coco was like, there are some great dancers. She was like, but Coco just ain't for the fuck shit. She is like, I'm not optimistic about getting the show together. She was like, we had too much to do in a short amount of time. Like, this don't have nothing to do with these people's talent. We can't even, like, get on the same page with shit. Meanwhile, Taj done hopped right in with the 20-somethings doing their 90s dance moves. And even when she fell, she went into a break dance and did the worm. I love Taj. I do. I think her spirit is a necessity for this group. Anyway, so SWV meets up at this restaurant. And, before I even talk about what they talked about, they were at, like, this hookah bar. Like, why was the waitress wearing a Burger King crown? Trying to give us the impression that this was under an Egyptian sort of, like, aesthetic. Like, can we not, Atlanta? Can we not? Okay. Atlanta metro area. Can we not? Anyway, so they asked Lily, how the book is going. And Lily says it's really hard to write erotica. And Taj was like, why? And she was like, the imagination. I'm like, y'all, writing a book is hard. It does require work. It does require imagination. It does require writing. It requires structure. It requires your individual discipline. When you read a good book, that stuff does not come easy to authors. It doesn't. I don't care how great they are at it. They just make it seem easy. Then Taj starts talking about when she read 50 Shades of Grey, she just made Eddie go out and get every toy. She wanted to try everything. And I was just like, Taj, I know your kids are damn near grown, but keep that. Just keep that. So Taj talks about how she talked to Tamika. And she was like, SWV ain't fitting to be no sidekick. We still on this. Like, essentially, Tamika was basically saying, and this is Taj giving the story, they aren't relevant because SWV doesn't have 1 million followers combined. But I think Tiny has like 10 million and Candy has like 17.3 million based on Real Housewives of Atlanta and their show, T.I. and Tiny Hustle. Lily said, did you tell her that Tiny and Candy's asses are for her to kiss, not ours? I said, you better go off, Lily. Let her know. Taj said, I didn't say that, but I did let her know. And then Coco followed up with, I hope they didn't punk you. And Taj was like, definitely not. And they were like, okay. But I could tell Coco put in the back of her mind, like, Taj was probably too nice about it. And we need to make this clear because of her behavior for the rest of this episode. So SWV, as Lily has explained in the confessional on multiple occasions, as Coco has explained on multiple occasions in the confessional, as Taj has explained, they have sold more records to date. Xscape, y'all are tripping hard. Like, Weak beats Understanding any day. And I like both songs, but Weak is the shit. Don't play. Okay? We not even back and forth on that one, so I'm going to move on. So Tiny and Zanique meet up at home. That's cute. They're showing, all of Zanique's little clips and her music from different years. They go inside and Eris is in there doing her own thing. She's adorable. Their kids are cute, though. Tia and Tiny's kids were always cute. And she's so sweet. And so Zanique is asking her, like, how did mom do? I wasn't there. She said she did very, 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 very spectacular. And I was like, oh. But she looks just like T.I. to me. She's talking to Zanique, but about Tasha. And I imagine since Zanique's her oldest child, she knows, Tasha from way back when. And she was like, she didn't make a booking. And this next booking, she's not on it. And Zanique was like, why did y'all take a booking without her? I said, Zanique, baby girl, clearly your mother has not updated you on the bullshit. But a mama is supposed to keep her daughter from foolishness. So, Tiny, I respect that. I respect that this is now a catch up. Moving on, Lily is watching her daughter's dog. Speaking of mamas doing mama stuff. Okay, she had to wash it at a grooming place. Now, I know this shouldn't be on my nerves and I should probably focus on something else. But what the fuck? Why are people so lazy now? I do not come in to a goddamn groomer paying for a service to have to wash the dog and then you eventually blow dry him and cut him. No, that's your job, motherfucker. I'm supposed to be chilling waiting for the dog. The fuck? Anyway, I don't want to wash it for a reason. Why do you think I brought it to you? Otherwise, I could have done this shit in the backyard. Anyway, Lily is talking about how tough it was to be a single mom. We get bits of her story, and I appreciate her story because I know there's probably plenty of people who feel the same way. And I think sometimes we think when people are stars that, sometimes it's easier. And I imagine, it's not easy for a Beyonce who's at the top of her game, who's not a single parent, but is always working her ass off, has given birth to 3 children. I'm sure there's a level to some degree at times of work guilt, and what you're trying to do and live it to work. None of that stuff's easy, but certainly to be on your own, that has to be tough. And I'm sure there's a lot of women who can identify with that. She said, I never signed up to be a single mom, and it was tough. My sister was like my main babysitter at the height of SWV. And she said, sometimes I think back, what I could have done better or wrong. Would this have happened or not have happened if I would have just done this? And you know what? I think everybody can live their lives and say that. I think my mother sometimes thinks that and says that. She's not one to talk a lot about things like that, but the bottom line is she's the best mother anybody could have ever asked for. She wasn't a single mother, but there were a lot of things I know that she wishes that she just could have done better. And you know what? You can't go around feeling guilty about stuff for the rest of your life. Raising kids is hard. Hell, teaching kids is hard. That's how I can imagine. Just let that stuff go, Lily, and live your life. I know it's easier said than done. So anyway, she's telling her sister about how Xscape thinks they're better. And every time I hear the vocals from Xscape, all I can think is y'all got your nerve. Specifically, you know who, but okay. So Coco and Candy, they are there to get the set list approved with Steven, who is the creative director. Now, Coco, let me tell y'all something. Coco's funny. She's funny. I know she's one of the people who could be a diva too far, because I already know she's one of the people you can't laugh at too much, because if you do, she gonna take but fuck it. She was like, I don't even know who Steven is. He's the creative director. Why is he doing the set? Like, he does the set. Like, I don't even know him. Okay? So I already knew this shit was about to go left. So Coco denies the way the set list is up. He brings up one song. She's like, denied. I said, ooh. So Coco calls the set list. She goes, this is real slow. But I think she was talking about the kinds of songs. And they have a variety, SWV. Whereas I think most of the ones I know, other than Just Kicking, they're an R&B group. Xscape that really has a lot of slow songs. So Candy's in the confession. She was like, she's showing her true colors. She's full of shit with all this not being about the drama. Candy, to be honest, you showing your true colors too. That whole I'm the low-key one, I'm not with the drama, I'm chill. This whole show, you've come off like a bitch. You have. Like, honestly, all y'all need to reset. Like, you coming off like being on Real Housewives of Atlanta means that you are now up there with the girls. Like the Whitneys, like the Beyoncés, like the Lizzos, like the who would be up in that category that I'm trying to think about, like the Stephanie Mills, like up there vocally. Who else could go up there? the In Vogues, like the SWVs. You are not there. You never were. And you've come off like you starting to reach that level where after I watched R&B divas and there were certain people I couldn't fuck with. Chrisette Michelle, I could not fuck with her after that. Kelly Price, I could not fuck with her after that. If she was making music, the chick from Brownstone, Nikki Gilbert, like their attitude ruined so much for me. Really, like, and Chrisette Michelle, like, I really wanted her to win. Like, I wasn't happy about the way they did her with the Trump shit, because people do fuck shit all the time. She should have been allowed to make a mistake and be forgiven. But just her attitude in general, I didn't like her after that. But Candy, like, you not coming off good either. So Coco basically says that Weak should end the show, not Understanding. Now, Understanding is a hit. It's a bop no matter what. It's one of those classics. But Weak, I don't care what nobody says. And Candy was like, well, we don't agree with it. Coco says, well, we do. I said, oh, shit now. And Candy says, well, how do we fix it? She says, I don't know. Because I guess she said, I ain't fucking backing down. And I don't blame you. Because, no, Weak, just bow down. Y'all started that shit with the headline, Candy. Y'all started it. See, you came in wrong. Anyway, so Candy and Tiny, we get another scene. And they're laughing about SWV and their looks on stage. And how they keep their 90s looks. Okay, yes. I do agree that changing your look is good. However, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Anyway, however, Xscape, this is what I'm talking about. Claiming to be on your grown woman shit, Tiny, but y'all look like y'all went and knocked on the door or got the number so you could knock on the door and go into Tina Knowles' trunk, that one she keeps, and now that all her children are out the house. And sometimes when she starts feeling like, oh, I miss those days where my babies were my babies and I was traveling with them. And she opens up that trunk where she kept Beyonce, Kelly Ketch, Latavia, and LaToya's outfits. Before there were 3, there were 4. And where they will all be in the same kind of outfit, but just differently stitched and sewn by Tina Knowles, okay? Making outfits for those young teenage women, slowly becoming women. And it's like y'all just found like those outfits and somebody let them out at the hem, but it don't look good on y'all. So I think before y'all want to go in on SWV, I think y'all need to get y'all shit together and not try to look like strippers. But we'll get there in a second. Xscape goes to this like studio warehouse or whatever to get their outfits. And it kind of looks like a costume warehouse. Which I realized part of the costume is because they set up for like strippers. And strippers do kind of, do like sexy costumes as part of their shows, I imagine. Side note, Jalen is going back to school. And they showed a scene in the car. I was clapping with Coco and Taj. I said, yes, get that education. The history of black people being denied education. Just go. You will still be young when you graduate. So Taj asked him what made him go back. And Bravo started playing all of that footage where Coco was in his ass, basically, telling him to stay in school. And now that you've been on this show, baby, trust me, especially if you go to an HBCU, you will have more than enough friends. Your mental health issues, just don't worry about it. You're going to be all right, baby. You're going to be all right. So Lily shows up late. It could be all that drama his mama going through to make him change his mind. Anyway, Lily shows up late and she walks in and she was like, okay, I thought this was going to be like different outfits, but this stuff just looks like it goes to Magic City. In Atlanta, it probably does. But people are desperate as fuck because y'all up here trying shit at the last minute. Tasha's like, okay, so they're explaining their style. She was like, I like to be comfortable and sexy. And she was like, I have, big breasts. I need straps. And I was like, girl, me too. Like, I cannot not have straps. I respect the truth. Thank you. Tamika starts calling Tasha Diana Ross. The last show, Diana Ross came in a new outfit, so we need to make sure we all have the same outfit. I said, I don't watch BET, but I heard there was some shit that went down with the BET Awards. I assume that's what she's referring to. They are doing the sizing for them. Taj is real with it. She was like, nope. I can tell you right now, that's too small. And my booty is not going to fit, and I'm not going to be able to be honest. Yes. Okay, so the stylists start asking what colors they like for the outfits. Lily's like, I like the black. And Candy is like, well, everybody can't wear black on stage. And I'm just like, Candy, the way you're acting is really nasty. It's nasty, and I don't like it. And I don't like your vocals, and I don't think you can sing. Boom. Okay? So, Candy brings up, well, who is going to end the show? Because basically her and Coco was still at a stalemate. Okay? So Tamika was, it's about numbers and followers, this, that, and the other. Tamika, slow your roll. Slow your roll. Jalen was looking kind of confused, like, what numbers? I was with him. What numbers are we talking about? Instagram, or we talking about real shit? So they show how Candy has like 17.3 million, Tiny has 10 million followers, and Lily goes, well, we're all in followers in the confession. She was like, they should have sold 90 million records. I said, well, this where the rubber meets the motherfucking road. You want to know why? I said, you better get it, Lily, because people ain't following y'all for your vocals and for your records. They following y'all for the fuck shit that y'all do at reality TV, and there is a difference. Because yes, it would be reflected in people reselling those albums. Catch. TLC came out with a movie. Them record numbers went right back up. Just saying. Okay. So they were like, oh, okay, well, I guess it's not about ego, this and that. Coco was like, okay, well, I guess egos are involved. And she was like, y'all do y'all stuff and we'll do ours. And Lily was like, first of all, let me explain something to y'all. I'm not going to be treated like I'm less because you need a piano in your dressing room. And I was like, where'd that come from? And they showed the flashback because Tamika was like, well, we're bougie. We don't dress in the same room. And Taj was like, we always use the same dressing room. We're a group. I can see both sides. I don't think it's that deep. I grew up in a family with 5 children. Okay, we are all 2 years apart. Okay, and it was 4 girls and 1 boy. So me and my sisters, yeah, we get dressed in front of each other all the time. Like, or we, be in the bathroom at the same time doing our hair and stuff like that. So I guess for me, like when I met young ladies in high school, like when we were like in gym and stuff like that, who thought it was a big deal, like I can't be seeing this, that, and the other. And I was like, I just changed my clothes. Or when I got to college and people had never, had to like share space, I was just like, look, y'all, as far as I'm concerned, we all girls here, and that doesn't make me uncomfortable. That's just me. But I was like, Taj, so what? Like, that's just me. That's just me. And Taj, if she the only woman in her house, she knows she got plenty enough space. She ain't got to do all that. Anyway, so, yeah, they go back and forth over who should end based on followers and records sold. Records sold fucking matter, okay? I would go see an old school tour with SWV headlining. I would like a Boyz II Men 702, etc. But like if Xscape was headlining it with like, I don't know, like Next. And not that I didn't like Next or anything like that, but Ideal, stuff like that. Like, no ma'am. No ma'am. Xscape, y'all's name does not sell records like that. Stop playing with me. Because otherwise, if it did, y'all wouldn't have brought in SWV for extra drama. I wish Destiny's Child would do a reboot tour again and call in another girls group like they needed. Okay, don't play. Don't play. So Tamika and Tiny meet up at the studio with Candy and Tasha, and they're talking as a group. And Tiny was like, look, we need to get to the nitty gritty of the group. And Candy's like, okay, about what? And Candy, that hair in the confessional, where it looks like you blow-dried weave and never straightened it, like never bumped it, and like a high school student did your hair, like they just teasing out, they couldn't get done, but they were like, girl, you look okay, and you can go out in public like this. Bitch, don't ever do that again. And that has the nerve to be your confessional look. We went from looking like a no scrubs background dancer, Candy. In the words of Jaguar Wright, your price is too high. Cut it. Okay. Anyway, so they are talking about how the promoter they've been working with, who they said is associated with Rocky, which I really didn't understand why Xscape agreed to that, just considering the history with Latasha and Candy, but whatever. They're talking about how the promoter they've been working with has not been clear about the business dealings, and Rocky has been getting a kickback from the work they've been doing. And Rocky was working with the promoter that wanted to use Tasha to get the other three ladies from Xscape to perform, and that she could do that, and he was going to he's been getting paid. Tasha denied it. Then Tasha said, well, you're saying that I did that. And Tamika was like, hold up. We about to have a business meeting. I got copies for everybody. She pulled out the text messages. She pulled out the numbers. And I was like, Tasha, you denied that too quickly. And then you tried to turn the tables. And Tasha said, so y'all saying, you're saying that I did it? You're accusing me? Candy said, well, it's your husband. Y'all are one. She was like, well, that's not me. That's him. Tasha, you in this group too. If he getting a kickback, y'all as husband and wife, you getting a kickback too. And he's clearly saying in these text messages how he's using you as his wife to another man, another sketchy business dealer, how he's using you to get money in both of their pockets. And you don't have sense enough to be offended by that? And that's why I can understand on what I'm so glad it's going to be the last episode when Tamika's like, that's not my sister. That's him. Yes, women do get in situations like that. And that is one reason, amongst many, why I am not interested in getting married. Because I've always found, it has appeared to me over time, that marriage is a trap for a lot of women. It has nothing to do with their abilities to be successful, but it's a trap. And there was a Harvard study that said what keeps women out of college and advancing their education is not money, is not resources. It is often a male partner. I'm just saying, you can look it up. And that it wasn't that study that made me think that, but it confirmed a lot of things that I've just experienced over time. So Tasha was like, y'all think these screenshots prove anything? Rocky was involved. Tamika was like, this is his number where he's talking back and forth with the promoter. And that scene let me know what I knew and what a lot of people have been saying is that it doesn't matter what you tell Tasha about Rocky. She is going to defend him. And my thing is, we don't see him defending her. Like in these videos, like I said at the beginning, like these lives where she's on her own talking about their open marriage. They weren't sitting there together saying we have an open marriage. He left you to explain that. He's the one cheating. That's the information that's coming up. We ain't heard about none of your side pieces. Because unfortunately, I think for your self-esteem, you think this is the best you can do, Tasha. And we've all been there as heterosexual women, at least. I can't speak for other women. I think we've all been there. Where you've had moments where you think, well, it's the best we can do. Especially as black women. All the negative stuff that comes out about how we don't get married and how we don't have this and that. And we start thinking, well, as long as I have something. No, girl. No. And the way you're going about it, and you've been stealing from your sister, I don't have sympathy for you. I don't. You're going to have to acknowledge what you did in order to make this right. But anyway, those are just my thoughts. Y'all have a great week. It's Holy Week. Happy Easter coming up. I don't know if I'll see y'all before then. I think Love and Marriage Huntsville comes back on Saturday. So I know I won't be doing anything on Good Friday. And Easter I'm going to enjoy. So anyway, I'll talk to y'all soon. Bye.